Oh god, you're filming, aren't you? I'm like subtly taking apart my knee brace. Alright. This is Liberty from the Aether Amalgam with a guest here today.
How's it going, guys? I'm Alex. So, you probably know me from my channel, which I'll put right here. Hashtag plug.
I don't know how to do that yet.
I can.
But anyway, today we're going to be talking about the differences between DID and OSDD. We got some questions here, which I have put on my phone strategically. The first one is sent in by us on Tumblr from Ghosts Need Love Too, who says,
I like it.
I'm just not totally sure where the line is with dissociative barriers. I know OSDD has lesser dissociative barriers than DID, but where's that line? I'd also be curious if there's differences in how systems function, especially with communication between the two. Hope that makes sense. It's a lot of words in a lot of words in very little screen. I was struggling a little bit.
I think to start it off for me, for OSDD, and I used to have a terrible time remembering that, just 4 letters, but going into it, for me there's better communication in there. Like I guess you could say there's better communication between, there's 7 of us, so there's better communication between the 7 of us, and there is, it's not as, complex is really what I mean, because you have 96, which is fucking terrifying.
I say, as it kind of is that bad. Lovely. Sure, alright, so, like, first with communication, it's a lot of, like, you know, telepathy and hoping for the best. Like, I'll just hear someone shouting something random, pretty much, and, like, they hope that we hear it. Or whoever's fronting hopes that whoever is listening in the back hears what they're trying to convey through. And we have a thick boy.
We have a thick boy.
He is always in my videos. He just loves being the center of attention.
He does.
Oh, my thick boy.
I love it.
He's so good. But,
I miss my cat.
Yeah, going back to the dissociative barriers things, personally, as a secondary host, I try to keep like the amount of amnesia to the minimum. So we do this thing where it's kind of like live streaming whatever you're doing. So whoever wants to in the headspace can tune in and like watch what's going down if they're interested or not or whatever.
And
yeah, with DID, a lot of people can like completely black out. They'll have no recollection of anything, or like if you're not paying attention to the live stream, settle down, okay? If you're not paying attention to the live stream, you'll be left with kind of like a gray patch, much like this.
I think, and then for me with like amnesia and whatnot, there's very little amnesia. I normally remember everything. I'm told everything if there's something happened throughout the day. It's like the live stream, but also like, hey, this was happened. It's like a full recap of the whole day.
A little debriefing.
And then normally for us, we have we have the sticky note usage there. So the system for the system is a lot of sticky notes and a lot of being like, hey, you almost forgot this. There you go. It's like that. So
it works.
It works.
We find sticky notes yet.
We have to find. It's finding the balance. It's like the hardest part, and most people hate the word balance, but it really comes into play in those kind of things. So.
Balance. What's that? All right. So on to the second question.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Second question
from Safety Net DID on Tumblr.
This is neat, and I'll be watching.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
You keep scrolling.
I'm sorry.
Just tap on the screen; it'll go away.
Okay, so the question is, I view the two as basically a continuum of dissociative experience, where you are given one label or the other based on how close you are to one side or the other. Is that a better way to conceptualize that? Conceptualize.
Big words.
Yeah.
Interpreting. Consider dissociation. I dissociate words away so much. So, like, how I interpreted this is kind of like, you know, you're on, like, a scale of, like, not dissociative at all to, like, ultra dissociative. Mm-hmm. And, so I guess a scale of 1 to 10, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit better to, like, kind of condense what this person's trying to say here. Like, the 1 would be like not dissociative, barely at all, like only a hint of memory loss, and 10 would be like I remember nothing.
So I'm probably closer to the less, so I'm aiming more like 3 or a 4 in that regard.
I'd be like a 6.5.
There you go.
On a good day.
On a good day. So it's not horrible, but it is kind of like I guess to put into a weird tangent here, it's like how many switches do you have a day? About
Like 5.
like 5. I mean I'll have like 3, and they're all they're pretty low impact is what I'd call it. You wouldn't even know unless it's voice changing kind of thing. So
Oh god, we've got some serious tells when someone switches the accents much. Oh man. But anyway, and the last one we had sent into us was, this doesn't really like apply to the DID versus OSDD, but I figured I'd throw it in anyway because questions from people are fun. This was, do you know if a lot of people with systems also have an autopilot, like something that knows the mannerisms of the body and primary occupant based on past patterns, that's not sentient in addition to other people who are sentient? So like, in essence, like something that will just like, the body will just kind of like do its own thing if nobody wants to front or take over. For us, our only autopilot is breathing and blinking.
Mine, you were very surprised by this. Mine is functioning. It's like an alcoholic,
Lucky.
but functioning. With that, I'll be roaming around doing things, and I won't even know what I'm doing. It's just, and it's like, it's cleaning and putting things away and just setting up for the next day or something like that. It's just full autopilot. I don't even know what's happening. None of us know exactly what's happening in there. It's just like, oh, do you want to do this? And it's like, it's blank ideas of how we like certain things to be done, and then they're done just because that's it. But normally it's just pretty cut off from feeling.
Alright, yeah, that's all we had for the questions. So I was just gonna go into talking about more about like differences with alters and stuff, and like for a lot of people with OSDD, their alters aren't as lovely, aren't as like well-rounded of people as like some people with DID, like fragmentation, for example, like certain alters would only hold like certain like emotions or functions or etc. We only have a few of those over here, like angry child, who is an angry child who just wants to be left alone. Do you have anything to add to that? How well-rounded are your alters?
They're pretty well-rounded, that's for sure. I guess I'd make like my own video for this, so if you really want to see that, I'll put something in front of his face. Question. What was it?
How well-rounded are your alters?
Pretty well-rounded. There's like, it's like having definition in like muscles, I guess is what you'd say. It's like you know it's there. It's tangible kind of thing. I zoned, but that's like all that we really do is zoning.
Basically, we just zone at each other and laugh, and then show each other memes, and that's our friendship.
Friendship.
It works very well.
We're living together, so it's like having 100 and fuck, I'm good at that. 103.
100 and yes, that.
So it's like having 103 people live in a tiny little building.
Pretty much. It's gonna be the two of us in an apartment this size next fall term. It's gonna be awesome.
It's pretty exciting.
Discovery of things.
Discovery
of things. There
Okay,
you go.
discovering for me is because there's a massive house thing that we have, containment system, if you will, where we have to find different new alters because of
just the way everything
it works
structured,
that way.
I guess.
Yeah, so it's definitely different than just kind of having it happen. It's more of a discovery, because all the things that have ever happened in my life, I don't remember maybe 30% of them. So that's kind of an issue. It's just kind of remembering, and then when I do, it's like opening a new door kind of thing. So
I don't always remember things, but when I do, it's like opening a door.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I burp. I am.
Underage consumption of alcohol. The thick boy is great. I'm gonna make a video about him next, I think.
Can I look at the video that I made with my cat? If you want to see a video of my cat, link in the description.
Actually, we could. We're gonna have like so many links in our description. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be wonderful.
There's an ant on the table. I'm gonna kill it.
Kill it. Is it dead?
Vanquished.
That's my leg. Okay, bye.
There he goes.
Ow, my pants.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna like nudge over here. So, for me,
You lean, I drink.
yeah. For me, it's kind of this fun thing where we picture ourselves, the seven of us, in a car, in like a big van, because since there's 7 seats and it works, and I'll go through in depth everyone in another video, but there's me, then Owen. There's me, Salem, Leah, Owen, Cannon, Ad, short for Addison,
And B.
and B. We forget about B, but I'll go into
Poor
them.
B.
I know.
B is a precious cinnamon roll.
We'll go into it at another point, but for now, it's kind of like having all of us in a car with me driving and then Salem sitting next to me, normally co-piloting. If not co-piloting, it's Leah or anybody else. That's how co-con works for us. Yeah, that's
It
pretty.
works.
It works really well as an analogy for us for now. For this one, not
It'd
so
have to
much.
be like a double-decker party bus.
A double-decker party bus, which we have agreed we will eventually go on.
Oh man, no, I've always wanted to go on a party bus.
They look so fun.
God, co-conning with us is basically a party bus, kind of.
True.
It's like, we can't really like picture that structured like car thing because there's like 96, and then the most we've had co-con is I want to say 10.
Wow.
And it was not a good night.
No, yeah.
No, it wasn't a fun time, but like usually for co-conning, we usually like describe people as being like close to the front.
Mhm.
Like I'll be like, "Oh man, you better not say that. I've got so and so like right here."
Yup.
Because they're like, close to the surface enough to listen. I guess it's kind of like, like picture like a wall and picture fronting like being like standing up against the wall. Face of the wall. Or a window. There we go.
That's-
you're
yeah, that's
fronting,
right.
you're looking out the window. You're like right there, and whoever's co-conscious will be like standing behind you, or like if you're like kind of co-conscious or just paying attention, they'll be like back here. And if you don't care, you'll be on the other side of the room.
So I guess
Something
a
like
weirder
that.
example would be like the windows behind you, like right here, and everyone's just kind of always going, "Hey!"
Actually,
Hey!
yes, standing in front of a window. That's better.
And they're just
it's been a long day.
like sitting there silently going. And everyone, then there's just people in front of you going, "Hey, fucker!"
You're just trying to drink your tea. You're just trying to make it look like you don't have a bunch of people screaming behind you. But hey,
But you do.
you've got that going, and it's delightful.
I think like the funnest thing though about having any sort of dissociative thing is that really you get like the best voices in your head sometimes.
Oh man.
Occasionally, so for Leah, she's very what would you flirtatious? I guess is what we would say.
Explicit.
Explicit, like rated R almost sometimes. Good
All
amount of
day,
time.
every day.
And it's kind of like having somebody scream out really sexual things at all times, and like the back of your head's like, "Hey!"
It's like a constant "that's what she said" joke.
Exactly. It's like that, and then with Salem, it's always like, "I don't give a fuck."
He just flips everyone off. That's how he communicates. He just flips us off. It's
Yep.
great.
That's how you know he's there. It's just silent. I won't do it but it's like flipping off kind of thing.
We just like put it in your face, and we're just like, "Sup, Salem? How's it going, man?"
Exactly. That's
And he's
exactly
like,
how it works.
It's great.
He's awkward as all hell too, but we'll get into that in another video.
It's funny. How would you describe like your frequency of like dissociation and like space it out hardcore?
Oh fuck. I think in one like let's say one day. Give your example. In one day, how much do you space out and lose your shit?
If we're talking like flat out dissociation, feeling completely disconnected from your body and staring at the wall for 3 hours, I'd say that happens like once or twice a day, and it doesn't really last for that long. Usually it's like between switches too, just like a little bit. We kind of like gradient almost from like say like me to someone else. There's like that period of like switching between like me and someone else where it's kind of just like fuzzy. And it's like, what is this? Am I doing this? This doesn't feel like me, or whatever.
It's the same for me. Is during the middle of this, during the switch.
The switch.
The switch. It's it's like getting out of a car and then having it's like the van. It's going back to the van thing. It's like having to get out of your seat to go all the way over and then having to switch. It's like that. It's like, okay, now we're gonna take our time and then you gotta move. It's like
move over.
It's like that. Like that process of having to switch chairs and switch driving. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes.
Yikes.
At the longest.
Well, yeah, that's not too bad.
The longest is that, but it'll be like a couple of seconds where it's just like. Like that, but I'm not gonna do anything like that.
Just gonna briefly die a
A little bit, yeah. But
I think it's just because the camera is tilted that way.
Yeah, also
because we're the same
slouch.
height, but I do have more leg. I do have more leg than you.
No, you don't. I have a
Do
lot
we?
of leg.
All right, we'll compare leg later.
We'll make this a segment later on. It's just how much
Who
leg
has more legs?
Who leg?
Let's find out. Okay.
Actually, I'm looking at you. You might have a little more leg on me.
Ha.
I have more torso.
I've got more leg. You've got more torso. We're just different build.
So
That's all I had off the top of my head
Yeah,
to
there's
talk
no-
about.
there's no,
Like we went through our questions and stuff, but if you had anything else you wanted to talk about,
um.
like how you have the like council meetings and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
For us, it's that's where like all the communication goes is having a council kind of thing. It's like having the round table. It's like that. It's having
Knights
a
of the
round
Round
table where all of us are there to talk. And normally this is either when I'm by myself or just in like when I have music and I'm just sitting in the corner and you see me there. That's what I'm doing. Is basically just having a council moment.
And for us, it's like wrangling cats. I mean, we have beautiful, lovely council chambers that could be used. You know, chairs and everything with a big chair at like the front of it, or I guess it's the back. It's like the very center where like the secondary host or the host can sit. Lots of chairs for everybody, but nobody uses them. We haven't used those since high school when there was only like 40 of us.
40?
When there was only 40.
It was only 40. I'm just sitting here like, I remember when I had 3 and it was bad.
I don't remember when I had 3. Actually, yeah, we do. Those were the times.
Those were the days.
I wasn't even there. But anyway, yeah, we can't do the council meetings at all. It's kind of like you kind of just like shout and hope for the best. I mean, in your head, you know, and you kind of like shout telepathically. You're like, guys, please pay attention. I'm trying to tell you this thing. We've got this thing we got to do for class or people or whatever.
And it's kind of like talking to a wall at one point.
It's like I'm basically just standing there with a megaphone, like, guys, please listen to me.
What else? What else we got?
What else do we have? Talk about the 4 Ds of psychology.
Let's do it.
I know one of them is distress. So distress, dysfunction, danger, deviance. Oh, I remembered it.
Wow.
I've got a psych exam tomorrow, which I should be studying for, but I don't feel like studying.
I'm supposed to turn in a paper.
We'll do that after we post this. But,
Back.
The 4 Ds of psychology is distress, dysfunction, danger, and deviance. So the first one is distress. It's like, does your disorder cause you a lot of distress? Does OSDD cause you a lot of distress in your day-to-day life?
No, surprisingly, I'm not. I am stressed. Like I think at least 75% of the time I'm stressed as all hell. I think, boy.
College life.
And that's also because of college, and that might be why there's some more switching happening for me rather than you, is because I get stressed pretty quickly about things.
So for me, the DID can be pretty distressing. Like, we get a lot of, like, conflict, and then the headaches, and then the random memories that pop up when you're just trying to do a reading from class. And then it just turns into this whole, like, soul-searching journey when you try to unearth your trauma memories, which I may or may not make a video about. I don't know if I want to share that. It's not YouTube material. For me, it's more distress than for you. Dysfunction. Does your disorder cause you any dysfunction in your day-to-day life?
Yes.
To what extent?
One of the main issues about being in college and having any dissociative disorder at all, for me personally, I don't know if it's more for you, is homework becomes an issue. Forgetting things, and that's where the sticky note system fails, is because I can't remember everything. And that's where it gets difficult. It's just Sometimes I forget that there was an assignment due, and then I have to email them. But then it causes me even more stress to be like, hey, I didn't do this, I was stressing. But then I can't always use stress as an excuse for everything. It's just, I'm stressed. So that's where it gets kind of... Exactly. It just, I don't know how it is for you, but it just becomes this issue of remembering things in school and college that you just stress over, and then in the end, you kind of just want to switch and be like, you know what, you do it. So that's kind of the issue now, really.
Yeah, for us, some of the dysfunction is different. Like, say, there will be someone fronting who should not be doing, like, anything requiring, like, social interaction or classes. We had Parsifal fronting solidly through my, like, entire 2D design class. He should not have been there. And half the time he was just thinking about throwing a chair at the professor, which would not have been a good thing at all.
Then you would have
I feel bad for even like having that thought run through my mind, because the professor's great. I love you, Laura, if you're watching. I love you, but Parsifal does not share a lot of values with everyone here. He's, you know, the trauma holder, and he's very unhappy about being said trauma holder. And so he just doesn't do well outside of basically our apartment. Honestly, he just likes to just sit out and smoke on the porch and then listen to Nine Inch Nails and
good band.
Watch Happy Tree Friends.
Disturbing show, but love it.
Who knows? But and then there's, you know, dysfunction of forgetting everything. That's pretty bad, or being like too dissociated to freaking move, and you have to do your homework or go to class.
Or even hang out with friends. It becomes kind of an issue. Like, for both of us, sometimes it'll be like, oh, I was going to hang out with Devin, but on the other hand, I have this massive headache. I am not, like, it hurts to a point. It depends on really certain circumstances, but most times it's like, I can't do anything. This chair is comfortable, and this is where I am right now. It's like
this is the one comfort in the world right now, this chair, and I'm going to stay in it.
And so that's just because it becomes a really sad thing. It's just like, I don't want to see my friends, but I know that my friends would help, but I don't want to leave this chair.
Exactly. That's like my constant struggle, danger to yourself or others. Like, I can't stress this enough. People with DID and OSDD are much more likely to be a danger to themselves than they are to outside people. Say, God, we're already talking about Nova and Parsifal. Neither of them are going to pull a knife on Alex. It will be fine. They're more likely to pull a knife on us, and which is why a lot of people like us have problems with self-harm, which is great.
I was blessed to not have to deal with as much self-harm. A couple of reasons why Owen and Salem are around is because in my life, twice I've considered a couple of very dark things, and that's semi why they're there and why I'm still here. So it's this kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, that happened, but unfortunately, Owen is one of those kind of people who would be a bit aggressive and would harm somebody else to a certain extent, but Salem is just Salem. He doesn't do anything. He just talks a bunch of shit.
He's just Salem. That's just how he rolls.
But Owen will not harm myself because he understands the kind of necessity it is to harm ourselves. Because if he hurts the body, it hurts him. There's no real reason. There's already enough pain going on, so that's kind of...
Honestly, that's so true. The last D is deviance. I didn't say deviance yet, did I?
No, you went.
No, I did not.
Start with distress.
Distress, dysfunction, danger, and deviance. Deviance is like deviating from the normal, like how the normal mind would work. And
we're not normal!
No! I feel like this one barely needs any explanation, like, at all. It's not normal to have 96 people in your heads, kids. Oh. I know, whenever I say, like, deviance, I always think just, like, these... Damn it, when I was looking at my cat, oh my god. Going and spray painting on things and smoking cigarettes. I do both of those.
I looked at you.
It's like,
We both do.
I only spray paint on things I can spray paint on.
We don't tag
For
things.
art. I don't tag things. That's
Exactly.
nerds. I just do like stenciling, spray painting.
Exactly.
And I smoke because anxiety medicine doesn't really work that well, and we ran out of our prescription like months ago. But anyway.
I smoke with this one. I used to smoke more, and then I stopped. And then now I'm...
I feel bad for peer pressuring, but
It's not even peer pressure.
You're an
It's
adult
that...
who can make your own decisions, you know?
It's just I do it, you know what it's kind of this thing that I stopped because I had other ways to deal with certain things, and smoking was kind of one of those things back in high school. But now it's kind of this whole thing of
Returning back to old vices, you know?
exactly, and it's not a horrible thing because I guess you wouldn't say that I'm addicted in any way, shape, or form. Like for an example, I have the pack right over there. I've had that pack now for about a month.
How? A pack lasts me 3 days.
E-pens. They're fun. Smoke, children.
No, children don't. Children don't do it. Don't follow our example. We're very poor examples of adults.
Good.
Lovely.
I'm a great example of an adult because one, I work so hard.
Weird of words and things. I didn't even know that was a burp. I thought you were just like,
Okay.
A lot of weird groans is just how we communicate.
A good amount
I'll
of
just
time.
walk up and he'll just be like, I'll be like, rough day, huh?
Rough day.
You got Salem around? Sounds like it, man.
But
Yes.
want to see something cool with my eye? Look at that. Whoa.
Oh, it's beautiful.
No.
Do it.
Okay. What were you talking about otherwise? Anything else?
Well,
What we got?
We just covered the 4 Ds of disorder. I think we've covered a lot of surfaces.
It's about 10:30 at night right now.
Oh my
It is
word.
dark outside.
So
I feel
if anyone has any follow-up questions or additional questions or just anything they want
it
to
has
ask,
Tumblr and
I've
stuff.
got Tumblr, I've got Instagram, I've got YouTube, I've got Facebook.
Oh, my leg.
I've got every social
Ask him
media platform,
questions.
and I also have whatever you can drop down in the comments.
If you ever need me for anything, you can go to my channel, which will be linked in the bottom. It has every social media thing you can think of,
All the stuff.
except for Pinterest.
Things. I need a Pinterest.
Don't get
Just ask
in the
us
thing.
things, please.
Ask questions. I love to hear questions. This one loves questions. We love questions.
We love to teach, we love to educate, we love to answer whatever you got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to see that video that I've been talking about for the last 45 minutes or so, if you want to see that video, I'll link it actually right here. I'll make the video and it'll be right here. Got it?
High
Cool.
quality.
Awesome.
Alright guys, alright, stay tuned, and as I always say, like and subscribe if you feel like it.
Like and subscribe. You can click onto his face.
Onto my face. Do it. Oh wait. Let me do the thing. Box thing.
Click on his face.
There we go.